Heyo team, welcome to another MC Commute. My name's Zach, and we're gonna ride to the office. Today though, are we really gonna ride to the office? Or is it gonna be more of a drive? That's a Polaris Slingshot. I don't have to tell you that. That's 4 cylinders, 3 wheels, 2 seats, and a partridge in a pear tree. So, we're gonna take it to the office. We're gonna talk about all the questions that I'm sure you have. And no time like the present. Let's do it. So the first question is, why? Right? Why, Zach? What are you doing? That's not a motorcycle. The first thing about the Slingshot I'd like to introduce you to is this sticker right in the middle of the console that says, warning, this is a motorcycle. And it says to wear a full face helmet, which I'm going to do. This one comes in the colorway of an FZ10, as you can see, or any FZ series. Really got that sort of battleship gray and high vis thing going on. This is the SLR model, so you got forged aluminum wheels that are a little bit dirty. Sorry about that. Ready to take it for a spin? All right. And away we go onto the open road. Breaking the speed limit pretty fast there. Okay. Respect, Slingshot. So I guess I don't have to be wearing a jacket. I chose to wear a motorcycle jacket that has like armor and leather and stuff. It's just out of habit, I guess. You don't have to wear a motorcycle jacket when you ride a motorcycle either, but I choose to do it. And I went with no gloves. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of a pleasant morning here in the California, so I'm not wearing gloves. Hopefully my hands don't hit the ground. I'm wearing a seatbelt, so I don't think I'm gonna get thrown out of this thing. So a little bit bigger engine than in the usual motorcycle on the MC Commute. It's like 2.4 liters, I think, or just about 2.4 liter. It's a 4-cylinder. I think it's from GM. It's like a Chevy or a Pontiac engine or something like that. I don't know enough about car engines to know what makes it special, if anything. But if it's a 4-cylinder GM engine, I guess I kind of assume that it's not really special. Hopefully that's not going too far. It weighs like 1,700 or 1,800 pounds. I think just under 1,800 pounds, and it makes 175 horsepower, something like that. I don't know if you're noticing that gear whine. That's something I noticed right off the bat, especially when I get off the throttle. Listen to this. Sounds like straight cut gears to me. I checked a bunch of Slingshot forums, and people have been complaining about it forever, as far as I can tell, since the original Slingshot came out. So the noise from straight cut gears is sort of like a performance thing, and you hear that from like Le Mans cars and rally cars and stuff like that. So maybe Polaris thinks it sounds cool. I think it sounds kind of cool, but I also think if I owned one, it might be kind of annoying because it's pretty loud. This is the part of the commute where I usually talk about ergonomics. Probably don't have a lot of questions about ergonomics in this case because it's a car. Sorry, I guess it's a motorcycle that feels like a car. That's what I meant to say. With rubber sort of seats. I mean, it's everything in the cockpit is waterproof, so it can sit outside. The cup holders have little drains in it, so everything's made out of plastic and rubber and like you'd expect, I guess. Some things more plasticky than others. The windscreen is kind of flimsy, but I don't know, keeps the wind off the face. Or keeps the wind off your face if you're shorter than I am anyway, because wind blast kind of catches me right in the middle of the kisser. I have to say, being next to this F250 brings up one of the things about the Slingshot that makes me a little bit nervous, which is that it's really low. Motorcycles are not famously safe. I think we can all agree on that, but in general, your head is approximately driver height, if not a little bit taller. You can see over and around cars a little bit. The Slingshot is very, very low. Also, no lane splitting in the Slingshot because it's got like a 75-inch wide front track or whatever it is. It's like a wider than a sports car up there. So there will be no splitting lanes if you live in California. This is actually amazingly frustrating, not being able to lane filter. Just have to go the speed that other people want to go. Is this how car drivers live all the time? It's infuriating. People are getting out of my way though. Probably think I'm a police slingshot. But that would be a really bad idea. No one's done that, have they? No police department owns a Slingshot, I hope. Except to give kids rides on weekends or something. Okay. I wonder if I can reach over and show you guys this. There's little cubbies back here too. Little storage cubbies behind the seat. So, you know, that's a thing you've got that a motorcycle doesn't do. Something. That's something. Oh, TC kicking in for a couple reasons. One, it has TC, which is smart, frankly. Two, the rear tire is basically bald on this thing because every other journalist that's had it before me has, I assume, done massive burnouts in it. So I've fried the rear tire. But lastly, the throttle response is not great. I think one of the reasons the Slingshot feels kind of fast, actually, is that it just wants to either accelerate or decelerate. It doesn't do neutral throttle all that well. So when you leave a red light, it's, I don't know, it's kind of exciting, actually, because it just feels like it pulls. The throttle's kind of a hair trigger. And if you're wondering how people do burnouts, if it's got traction control, it's got this little switch right here on the dash, and if you go click, then this little light lights up and it says no TC, no more, and you can do big old brodies, which is pretty fun. Maybe we'll experiment with that later. That guy's got a dog on his lap. To each his own, but I don't ever want to drive around with a dog in my lap. Just getting that out there. I guess this is where we look at the dash, you know. What do we got here? All the usual things, actually. Speedo, tack, odo, clock that isn't quite right. I'll work on that later. Air temp, trip, range. You know, the usual things. And this big old infotainment thing, which does nav, which is kind of cool, so I can get directions to the office if I needed them, but I don't. Glove box, USB charger in there, that kind of thing. Boosa, you get some. This might be one of my favorite things about the Slingshot right here. We're about to do is whip through a corner, and then whip through this corner. Brap, brap. It'll pull some serious G's, man. It really will. It's impressive. It likes to go through corners. It's got lots of grip, man. It's like a big go-kart is what it is. I do think it's silly, but I will admit that I have laughed out loud in my helmet more than a few times. And if a vehicle can do that, it deserves something. I'm headed for the carpool lane. And some of y'all might be thinking, what? Carpool lane? You can't take carpool lane in that. That's not a oh, but it is a motorcycle. Honestly, I'm kind of expecting to get pulled over because I'm not driving with anyone. That's how a carpool lane works. You have to have more than one person in the car. I do not have more than one person in this vehicle. I sort of assume if a cop sees me, he'll pull me over. He or she, excuse me, will pull me over. If that's the case, I shall direct their attention to the sticker that I showed you guys that says this is a motorcycle. So if that happens, we'll see. The gearbox is also surprisingly satisfying. Anyone who rides a motorcycle will prefer a sequential box any day, but this is a pretty satisfying little sport gearbox here. Real short throws, click click burp, click click burp. Wind protection, pretty good, as you'd probably expect. The wind hits me in the forehead-ish. You might be thinking with a low ride height like this and kind of, you know, semi-low profile tires that it would be a little bit of a rough ride, and it is. But I will say it's more comfortable than I thought it was going to be, considering, you know, it just feels like a big go-kart basically. Gonna try and give traffic a bit of a head start here for our favorite little off-ramp situation so that we can have a little bit of fun. Not too much fun, just a little bit of fun. Rap. I mean, this thing will probably pull a G or so. It's pretty fun. The brakes are quite good too. I usually talk about that at some point. I got a funny feeling you guys don't really care, but it does have ABS and it does have pretty good brakes. I mean, for a quasi car, it's pretty light, right? And it's got lots of contact patch up there. Yeah, it stops pretty hard. Trying to hit this guy. He looks nervous. Looked at me like I was gonna hit him for a second. Sorry, man. So it'll be like 20 grand, $21,000, something like that for a base model Slingshot. This is the SLR, which is more like 30 or 31 maybe $1,000. You get the infotainment, you get a little bit beefier sound system, I think. You get forged aluminum wheels. I don't know, probably some other stuff too. The point is, $20,000 to $30,000 is your basic ballpark for one of these bad Nellies, which gets you a pretty nice motorcycle. I think we can all agree. It gets you a pretty nice car, frankly. And I think that's the, you know, that's always the sort of gateway when it comes to a Slingshot of, you know, the why. Because motorcycles in general are oftentimes just accessories in our culture. So if you're going to get an accessory, do you want it to have 3 wheels? Do you want it to not have a roof? So on and so forth. Oh, can it back in, guys? Let's see, shall we? Oh, shit. Yeah, it looks like you can. Not very gracefully, if you're me anyway. But you could probably teach yourself to do it. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try that again. That's the first time I've done it, honestly. It didn't even occur to me until I get to this spot, like always. Yeah. 3-wheeled vehicles, historically, kind of dangerous. I raced sidecars for a number of years. Very dangerous. I'm gonna turn off traction control, which you can do on the fly, by the way, because it feels like the right time, doesn't it? Yeah, pretty silly little vehicle here. Got a backup camera, by the way, so that I won't hit this wall, hopefully. I don't really know how to show you guys what it sounds like, other than to sounds like a 4-cylinder car, right? There's Steven. Hey, Steven. But there you have it. Slingshot SLR. Hope you guys enjoyed that commute. And I don't know. If you own one of these things, let me know what it's like. Put a comment below. I'm sure lots of people are going to tell me what you think.
Did they change the exhaust note? It sounds better than I remember.
Sounds better than you remember. That's good. No, I don't know.
Oh. It sounded like a rental car before.
See my colleague here walking up, wanting to know about the Slingshot. Motorcycle person wants to know about a Slingshot. That's one thing you get with a Slingshot, is you get a little bit of attention. The other thing we can do is pop the top here. You guys can check out the engine bay. Here you get your variable valve 4-cylinder GM thingamajig that I was telling you about. Okay. Thanks again for joining me on this commute, you guys. It was fun, as always. And I hope to see you on the next one. See ya!